90% plus do not actively pick their own investments.
Now this is going to have serious consequences for your retirement plan without any consultation whatsoever,
leaving younger investors now with nowhere else to go.
Now, Nest is the largest workplace pension provider with about 12.5 million members, and they work with close to 1 million employers all across the UK. Now, as there are an estimated 33 million people working in the UK, that means that the Nest workplace pension accounts for about 37% of the workforce. Now, if you've clicked on this video, there's a strong likelihood, or a strong possibility at least, that you're either a member of the Nest scheme or you might well be in the very near future. Now, Nest has got assets under management of close to £33 billion, and those assets are going to be underpinning many of us in retirement. Now, Nest have decided to make some very important changes to their top performing fund, which is a high growth and 100% equity focus and approach. Now, for reasons we're going to get into a little bit later in the video, Nest is making a big investment shift by diluting, de-risking and effectively watering down this fund and the performance along with it. Now, this is going to have serious consequences for your retirement plan, as there is no doubt that over the long term, you're going to be worse off as a result of the decisions that have been made without any consultation whatsoever. So in this video, I'm going to try and unpack why Nest is making this move, why is it making the move now, and how it's likely to reduce your long-term gains, and what it means for investors who are aiming for a larger pension fund by taking a more aggressive investment approach. Well, welcome back to the Economist channel, where together we're going to be learning the language of money and wealth. And we're also dedicated and focused about mastering money and making financial wisdom available to absolutely everybody. Hi, my name is Simon and I'm a chartered financial planner, normally based here in the UK, but I'm recording this video for you in a very overcast and a little bit chilly island of Ibiza. So why don't you follow me back to the studio and I'll go and try and explain some of the implications of these changes and offer some solutions for you as well. I'll see you in a minute.
So in a world where every pound invested should mean money for our future, it's disturbing to know that the recent changes to the Nest pension, which are coming into force now in November 2024, could end up costing us more rather than helping us to grow our wealth. Now, within the workplace pension space, the Nest Sharia Fund has been a standout performer. It has delivered strong and consistent returns due to its 100% equity allocation. However, recent changes announced by Nest are going to involve de-risking or diluting their top fund by changing their asset allocation to 70% equities and 30% to sukuk, which is a type of Islamic compliant bond. This has raised questions and more than a few concerns amongst investors who are looking for high growth potential and perhaps a more aggressive investment approach. Now, this video isn't about the Sharia form of investing, but it's more about your choices to invest in a fund that's 100% committed to global equities, and also about your choice to accept the risk that goes alongside that. Now, this shift represents a significant alteration to the fund's original objective. Now, we're going to take a close look at what this means overall, the reasons behind it, and why this may ultimately reduce the growth potential of your pension pot moving into retirement. But before we do that, I'm going to pop up the usual disclaimer to say that this video is for education and entertainment purposes only and shouldn't be misconstrued or misunderstood as offering financial advice. Now, for our regular viewers, you know that we love a quote on this channel, and as Donald Trump has just been declared the next president of the United States of America, here's one from Benjamin Franklin: an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So what exactly is the Nest Sharia Fund? Well, the Sharia Fund is a unique offering within the Nest range of funds to pick from, and it's designed to comply with Islamic financial principles. Now, obviously, it avoids companies and sectors such as alcohol, gambling, pornography, as well as interest-based financial institutions. So the fund is currently invested primarily in global technology giants like Apple, Microsoft and Alphabet, and this has been the drive of very high returns in recent years. So as a result of the allocation being 100% stocks and shares, the risk level for this fund is high when compared to other funds that you can actually pick from, as I've shown in this chart. So this high growth, 100% stocks and shares approach has allowed the Sharia Fund to outperform all other Nest fund options with a 5-year return of 123% compared to just over 43% for the higher risk fund. Now, I've also included how the funds have performed since launch. So you can see that the Sharia Fund has generated an annual performance of just shy of 15% when compared to the higher equity fund of just over 9%. So where exactly does this Sharia Fund invest around the world? So essentially, this fund invests your money in Sharia compliant shares. And that means there's going to be a negative screening for alcohol, pornography, pork, or investments that receive interest such as government bonds. Now, I've included the top 10 holdings here, which are very, very tech heavy. We've got Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet. We have Amazon on the list as well, followed by Nvidia, Tesla, Meta, and then some outliers with ExxonMobil, Eli Lilly, and of course J&J. So what are the upcoming changes to this asset allocation approach? Well, starting this month in November 2024, Nest plans to adjust the asset allocation of the Sharia Fund by introducing sukuk, which are Islamic bonds. And that's going to make up approximately 30% of the overall portfolio, with the remaining 70% to stay invested in equities. Now, sukuk, they don't generate interest, but rather offer a fixed income through a profit sharing arrangement. Now, this restructuring does mark a big departure from the fund's previous 100% equity-focused strategy. Now, if you're finding value in this video, please hit the like and subscribe button so you can help us grow this community, which has just gone over 300,000 views. So a huge thank you to all of you who've taken the time out of your day to watch, like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. So what's the logic for adding sukuk to the overall portfolio? Now, the logic and the rationale behind introducing sukuk is primarily to reduce the overall volatility associated with a 100% stocks and shares portfolio. Now, Nest intends to create a smoother investment experience, especially for older investors who are approaching retirement, who may be less inclined or less able to tolerate a higher risk portfolio. Now, this shift aligns with their lifestyle investment principles, which favour moving away from risky investments the closer that their member gets to retirement. But it's clear to me that this change may not be in the best interests of younger, more growth-focused investors who are likely to see potentially much lower returns as the fund moves away from its 100% asset allocation to stocks and shares. Now, come find the exact figures online to show what percentage of workplace pension members actually choose their own fund, but it's estimated that about 90% plus do not actively pick their own investments. What that means is there is an overwhelming majority of Nest members who are already in a default pension, which de-risks their pension the closer they get to retirement. As an added protection, Nest has a foundation phase, and that's designed for younger members around their 20s to perhaps 30 years old, and that lasts for 5 years, and that's designed to avoid sharp losses which might negatively impact those with limited investment experience. The foundation phase is then extended into the growth phase, and that can last as long as 30 years, and that moves the portfolio up to a 60-40 investment approach, and that is 60% in equities. That is then followed by the consolidation phase, and that then automatically lowers the overall risk about 10 years before retirement. So what that means is that there are already checks and balances within the Nest workplace pension that offers a smoother investment journey for its members. So why should Nest actually care at all if their members prefer to take a more aggressive approach to their investments, especially when they've already got a higher risk fund option available to pick from? That's already got 70% in equities, and the rest is then diversified into bonds, emerging market debt, commercial property, and of course commodities, as well as cash. That all being said, the 5-year performance of the higher risk fund is 43% compared to the Sharia Fund of the same time period of 123%. So unfortunately, if you're not happy with these changes, which have been made without your consultation, transferring out of the Nest scheme is not an easy option, especially if you're an active member of the scheme. However, if you're a deferred member of a scheme, and by that I mean if you're no longer making any contributions to the scheme, either directly or indirectly via your employer, then you can consider transferring out of the scheme and perhaps consolidating your pension elsewhere and investing in a wider range of funds. So by diluting and watering down and de-risking the fund, this is almost certain to impact the long-term growth potential of your investment fund. So historically, equities have outperformed bonds and Sukuk, by the way, making them ideal for investors with a longer-term time horizon who are willing to ride out the short-term market volatility, potentially looking for a lot higher returns. So by shifting to a 30% Sukuk allocation, Nest is effectively lowering the fund's growth trajectory, which may have a compounding effect over time, resulting in a much smaller pension pot. So in conclusion, in the end, the decision to incorporate Sukuk into the Nest Sharia Fund represents a dilution of its original high growth, 100% equity strategy, leaving younger investors now with nowhere else to go. And that is clearly leaving them at a disadvantage. So I'm going to link 2 more videos in this series about understanding your workplace pensions and another about how to consolidate your pensions into one place and how to make sense of the whole process. So thank you so much for watching it to the very end. Thank you for your time and always for your pensions, and I'll see you all again next week.